We are talking love with the Million-Dollar Matchmaker on AfterBuzz TV. Spotlight on.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Lovely song, lovely song. Welcome, guys. My name is TK Trinidad, and you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. We have a special show for you today. I am truly excited. She is a third-generation matchmaker. She is a star of the hit show Million-Dollar Matchmaker, and she is the CEO of Millionaires Club International. Please welcome Patti Stanger.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Good, really good.
I love the nails.
Oh, thanks.
Chromes is everything.
Thank
so
you.
kind of let's just get into it. So I watched the latest 2 seasons for this show. What is your advice for, well, my thing is, what do the same rules apply for millionaires, for the millionaire matchmakers, for regular folks, like what you would
Yeah,
suggest?
I mean, most of it's like being courteous, common sense, chivalry in the male department, and the female department being appreciative.
So do you believe that the males should pay for dinner always?
Yes,
'Cause
until you're in an exclusive committed relationship, and then, because once you touch money, you become male. So no male, straight male wants to date a female straight male. So it becomes two masculine energies, and it kind of diminishes the sexuality.
And now what's your, because I find I'm from
And that's biology, by the way. That's something that we've studied at Harvard. This is not something we've made up, because before we went to college and became super successful, and that's all great and amazing, the men now are like lazy lions. They're becoming the feminine energy, and the women are becoming the masculine, and nobody knows who they are anymore. And so if we just keep it like, I ask you out, you say yes, look pretty, I'm taking you out, and then about 3 months after an exclusive relationship is arranged, and then they say to each other, well, I'd like to do something nice for you, make me dinner. You know, do something on a smaller level, so you're indebted to him.
Now, I find, being from the East Coast, LA is a little bit different as far as
and
dating.
I'm from Jersey, so yes, it sucks. It sucks in LA. Do I have to say that with a big capital S?
Yeah, it's a different beast.
I mean, they're pretty, but they're lazy, and they're very feminine. And I don't mean like gay feminine. I mean like feminine, like they look like the alpha male, and then they're like, you call me and you ask me out, and you don't hear from them for weeks, and they ghost you, and there's no. Like, New York is very different. It's an energy where if I'm going to say I'm not interested anymore, I'm not going to just go evasively, go blank. I'm going to tell you to your face, dude, I just don't feel it. And here it's like they'll just string you along forever.
Right, the breadcrumbing effect.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is your suggestion for, we'll just start with females who are actually looking for a relationship living in Los Angeles?
Well, I mean, you can't give up, because it only takes one. So we have to look at it like our statistical analysis says, in the United States, California is the best state to date because it's 50% male and 50% female.
Really?
And it's an even-Steven mentality. And we're not talking about the gay community, we're talking about the straight community. So it's a really interesting census, whereas if you get to New York, it's 5 women to 1 guy. I wouldn't recommend New York City. Maybe the outer boroughs, like, you know, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, and of course Jersey and Connecticut. But in California, in LA, and even San Diego, the men outnumber the women because it's called Man Diego down there. So you have to look where the statistics are, and all it takes is one, and you got to keep your head up. But in LA, we're very superficial. We're very driven by looks and age. There's a lot of ageism going on. We're driven by fame and celebritydom, and how much money do you have? And so it's pretty superficial. So it's you got to have a tough spine to live here.
So pretty much don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope. You know, get to the valley maybe, because there's some good guys in the valley.
Yeah, I find when you move a little bit outside the core LA, you get kind of the normal.
I mean,
the normalcy.
You stay in Beverly Hills and you get into that Pacific Palisades, Beverly Hills, West LA area, Brentwood. You're going to be in the bubble. You get to the outer boroughs, such as like Manhattan Beach, Redondo, Hermosa, maybe even a little El Segundo, and then you get to the valley. You're going to find people who have other jobs other than being in Hollywood, and they're not ruled by this town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we do the dating apps, or do we do it the old-fashioned way?
I think you do both. I think you do. So the statistical analysis that we have found is that 20% of your search is an app. Okay, and that means mixing it up. I like to go on 3 apps at once. I like to get a big app like Match, a smaller app like a Bumble or Tinder, and then I like to do a niche app. It's like, I like to hike, they like to hike. I like wine, they like to wine. Find an app that's connected to your hobbies. That's 20%. 20% should be friends, family, coworkers, referrals, okay? Another 20% is going out and doing interesting things that you like to do. So if we were just talking about Runyon Canyon, which is like the cream of the crop for finding hot guys.
Yeah.
So now you're up to 60%, okay? 20 extra percent is travel, getting out of your zone, your comfort zone. You want to go to a different city, a different state, on vacation, and then the 10% is the wiggle room, which is what we call the magic. Like one day you're at the grocery store and poof, there he's there, and that's God putting it in your tracks.
Okay.
Just keep busy. Keep busy.
There. Keep it. So I did hear you mention on one of the shows that Tinder is like more of like the hookup app. Is that?
It's become a hookup app, and I can actually attest to it because I'm on there. I really like it in the sense that the men are faster. They're quicker to make a date and say, let's go out, which is really alpha. But then they're showing you the dick pics when they send it to your phone and their shirts off. Bumble's a little lazy lion, prettier boys, but not a lot of, testosterone there.
Yeah.
And then Rhea is for the celebrity dumb. So you've got Rhea or Raya. I don't know how to say it. Is it Rhea or Raya? No one's told me what the difference is. I hope I'm not incorrectly saying it. And then Match was always the predominant large site because it was traditionally not an app. It was traditionally a dating site. You pay $29.95. So someone's on there, like a Millionaire Match or one of these sites. You're going to get somebody who has a really good job. I'm not sure why. I keep saying, why doesn't Mark Zuckerberg call me and let's start Facebook dating / Instagram? Instagram dating is very millennial because it's young, but Facebook is over 40. So if we could merge the two markets, we really got something going on here.
And that's true because sometimes in Instagram and Facebook, they kind of do the suggestions and stuff like that, and everything kind of comes together.
And then there's LinkedIn doesn't have dating, which is great because you get to see someone's resume. But a professional matchmaker, if you can afford it, is really the way to go because they have a database. They're out screening new candidates all the time. They're going to events. People are contacting them, and you now expand your resources. So anywhere from I charge a lot of money on the millionaire side, but anywhere from $5 to $50 grand, those are what they charge. The average is $25 grand a year. But then again, it's millionaire dating, and now you have a concierge. Like, you outsource your love life, okay, to a concierge. You also outsource your legal life to a lawyer. Why not outsource to a husband hunter or, a wife hunter who's going to actually get you everything on your wish list? That's why we get paid the big bucks, because we're doing a lot of heavy lifting.
So that's kind of what I've noticed recently. I look at a lot of women. They've spent a lot of time doing their careers. And then you get to a certain point where it's just like...
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, you look around and you're like, oh man, wait. I get almost there in the career, but I haven't got the husband, I haven't got the kids, and now it's panic mode.
I think this is going to sound horrible. I think the girls that are really successful in business, the alphas in business, like I'm an alpha in business, but I'm a beta at home. I think that they get misunderstood on a date at a bar in the community. I think that if you see someone at work hitting it, quitting it, let's say a litigator in court, you assume she's like that at home. And it's unfortunate the girls are getting prejudiced on that because the girl that's Stupid Sally that sits at the bar and goes, I don't know what to do. You get me the drink. He's all over her. And you're just like, that girl doesn't have a brain in her head. Like, what are you doing? I got an MBA. I went to college. I raised, my sisters and brothers because my mom was working all the time. Like, they don't give any street cred to that. And that bugs the shit out of me because I know how hard it is to get up the ladder, the corporate ladder, especially in this male-dominated world where women don't make equal pay to equal dollars. So it's unfair to me. I don't like it particularly.
So is it because they're intimidated?
Yes.
Or?
Well, they know you're too smart for good. I mean, my biggest problem was always in my life is I was too smart. Now, I never called them out on it, only in business because that's my job. I have 42 minutes to tell a story, and when I'm doing my real business, I got to cut you to shreds so that you don't waste that year dating the wrong girl, and you end up with the prize at the end. But it's like, if I'm smarter than you, I have to be quiet and not say something. If we're talking about Trump or something, and I know something that I read in the paper today, and I'm discussing it, and I go too far, he now misjudges me and says, "Oh my God, she's a know-it-all." Like I'm a female Bill Mayer or something. I mean, it's like, and that's not fair to the woman because she's got a brain. Now, you got to dial it down at times. You got to know when to use your sexy maxi to woo the guy, and know not to hit it to quit it with the brain. Like one of my favorite shows right now is Insecure. We were just
gosh.
I mean, and I've really gotten into this show because I don't. Everyone, we did a very diverse season. We had a lot of African American, we had a lot of Latino, a lot of Indians, Indians as Eastern Indians, and we had a lot of people from different walks of culture. And Insecure to me is not about Black America and females. It's about women trying to date in this fucking male-dominated economy. And how are we getting, like when she cheats on her boyfriend, Issa, I'm like, and then his best friend's sister, I know why she cheated, because she sat on the couch for 2 years and you didn't get a job and she had to pay all the bills. Like, and I went through something similar. So I'm like looking at this, like, this show is a role model for everyone. It's the new version of Sex in the City.
Yeah, that's how I describe it.
Because it's the new version, because it is in a place like, you know, they're not in the city. There's not, like, back in Sex and the City, there were thousands of men. They always got laid every episode. They slept with them on the first date. They wondered why the guy didn't come back after it. I'm like, dude, you slept with them on the first date. They got the candy for free. And now it's 5 women to 1 guy. So you could never have Sex in the City now. It would never work. The odds are not in their favor. Maybe Samantha would get everybody, but nobody else would.
Right.
And there's not a lot of Mr. Biggs walking around. So now this is an LA urban central kind of thing. When I see them out in the real world with, you know, other cultures, I'm looking at this as a woman's show. I don't really even look at it as African American. I know there's a big African American struggle there. Right. You know, like when she finds out best friend that the parents cheated, the father cheated. Well, yeah. You know, I don't want to give too much away because it's a really great show and you got to watch it. It's already, season 2 is already over, so you can get it on HBO. But it's a woman's show for me. I live for that show, and I love when she talks to the mirror and, you know, goes off on the guy.
It's definitely it shows you different, especially when she started dating and she started doing the multiple dating and stuff like that. It definitely shows.
I'm like, she threw the Latino out because this Latino guy she finds online, he is stunning. They have the date of all dates, and so the second date, she's become the man, he's become the female, which is not Latino style. Latino is always machismo. Right. And now she's mad that he wants to take it slow and get to know her. And she throws him out to the curb. And then I was can we talk a little dirty here?
Yeah, we can.
Are we allowed to go on AfterBuzz a little dirty? So we're talking about the scene where she gives her new boyfriend sort of a blowjob and gets.
Oh my gosh.
And I just talked to my girlfriends at lunch. I'm like, I don't really understand what happened there. Why she was mad at him? Like, honey can't hold his junk. It's got to go everywhere. What are you supposed to do about that?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. I gathered from it she doesn't do that often.
She doesn't swallow, or she doesn't go down, or she doesn't go down often. So that's and that to me was I have somebody in my life, a friend who refuses to give a blowjob, but then expects him to go down on her. So I said, if you're not going to share the ketchup, it's not going to happen. You're both not going to get a burger. It's like why would you think he would go for you and you wouldn't go for me?
I think he did. He was going down on her.
He was going down on her. Right. She didn't. She goes, you made me uncomfortable. You made me feel nervous, and I was just like, okay, that was really blowing my mind. Actually,
there's a little. I think in the community there's definitely an issue with that, and then there's an issue that you're not as comfortable.
You know, Jews get the worst rap between African American people because they say Jewish women don't go down, and that is the biggest bunk of junk I've ever seen. Everyone I know, that's how you get diamonds. Okay, you go down, you swallow, you get a diamond ring. That's how it works in the Jewish community. So I was like, what?
I think the same thing. You need to know how to cook, and you definitely need to, it's a skill.
Cooking is a homage to love. My love is in the food, and what man doesn't like to eat? So to me, it's like you better learn how to cook. You better learn how to boil eggs or whatever. You know? Yeah.
So. I have a couple of questions. Like I said, I've been watching the show from the very beginning. Okay. Last season, or season 1, Dustin and Rachel showed up.
Yeah. Okay. So the network thought it was a really good idea because I had a really bad ending with them. And Bravo didn't want to address, they were very ungrateful in the Millionaire Matchmaker history. Bravo really did right by them, and they were very ungrateful to Bravo, and they didn't want to address it. They were like, listen, we get in these situations, and this is a sad story, and a lot of shows will tell you, a lot of ensembles will tell you, I'm not really an ensemble, but you'll get sidekicks, and they get swelled heads, and then they start to think they're you. Now, this business I created from my computer with one of my best friends. She was in the computer business. She's like, I'm going to make you a site in a day, and we're going to put it up. We're going to see what happens. You know, I'm taking little ads in LA Magazine, and I just went as I went because I came third generation matchmaker. I did run Great Expectations for 8 years, the oldest dating service, and I kind of knew what was right and what was wrong, and I knew the recipe. At the time, Bill Clinton was president. Millionaires were on every street corner. You know, it didn't even matter what color you are. It was like Silicon Valley was blowing up everywhere. And the bottom line was that I knew I could produce and get those little nerdy guys out of the plaid pants and the pocket protectors and really get them laid. Right. So when I created this, people walk into my house, in 6 minutes they think they're a matchmaker. So Des and Rachel were a test. We brought them in. They were out of the game so long. I would throw them the ball. They wouldn't remember what to say. They didn't remember what are my top 3 reasons for this or my top 2 reasons for that. And so it really didn't work. This season, we brought on a different person who was a relationship expert who had a different philosophy. I got challenged on this season, and it was like, I don't agree with you. And he was trying to push the brothers down everyone's throats. Right. Yet he was married to a Chilean woman. And I was like, and all my black girls came on going, I want to try a white guy. Right. Whereas, I was like, really? You don't want me to give you a brother? And they're like, no. They're like, I want Latin, I want this, I want that. Yeah, variety. And Laura McGovern came in and she's like, I want to try a white boy. I've been burned by my NBA players. It's like, so I have a philosophy, and this is my grandmother taught me this. You never prejudge what someone's attracted to, and they will change all the time. They'll say, I want white today, black tomorrow, Middle Eastern tomorrow, American Indian. And you know, like I recently, he got mad that I didn't want to date a brother, but now I want to date Idris Elba. So I have to get in a line with everybody else because I'm so attracted to his British accent. Oh my gosh. I watched him on the C Word a long time ago, and I didn't realize it was him. And I was like, dude is fine. You know, like I just love the elegance of him. Is he married? No, he's single now. So I don't like, ooh. And today we found out, I don't know, when is this going to air?
It's going to air today. Okay, so we found out that Fergie and Josh Duhamel just broke up today, which is a big story. And, you know, I've met them before, and like Josh, oh my God, he's stunning. So it's like there's a lot of breakups going on right now. A lot of people reshuffling the deck. Right. That's an astrological thing that's happening right now. A lot of bad shit's going on. Saturn is stationing point in Sagittarius on a lot of people's points in their charts. So people want freedom. Uranus is in Aries right now. It's like a lot of people want freedom. We had 2 eclipses right now, which really did damage to a lot of signs in the zodiac. And people are like, yeah, I don't think this is really what I want anymore. Now, they might regret it later. Right. They might come back on the next Mercury retrograde and say, I made a mistake. Right. Like, there's nothing out there. Because a lot of times you throw the baby out with the bathwater realizing you need the baby back. And you realize, it's not that much. Yeah, because it's funny because Fergie was on The Breakfast Club, I believe a day or two ago, and she was talking about how Josh listened to her music and stuff like that. So,
they were like best friends.
Yeah, you didn't hear any... any inkling.
My other one that I'm shocked at is Carrie Ann Arbach. She got engaged to this hot guy from General Hospital, and I was like, dude, she got a great one. I was so excited. I looked at their charts. I was really happy. And they've been talking about their wedding in Hawaii in July next year, and 2 weeks ago they were this and that, and pictures up on the Instagram, and boom, they're over. It's like the engagement's off. And I was just like, what happens in a day that... People are like, no go, no more. So like, there's a lot of stuff going, temptation, I guess.
So do you think like for instance, 15, 20 years ago, people were married for a longer period of time, 20, etc. And a lot of men and women cheated. And by the way, we are not going to put the blame of cheating on men because women cheat more than men. There's been studies at Harvard on it, and the reason is they keep their secrets to themselves. They do not blast it in the locker room to their buddies. They're embarrassed that they're cheating, and so they don't want anyone to know their dirty laundry. Right. Where men are like, dude, I got 5 women, you know, it's like the whole, they're a little bit more
messier
with it.
The whole Chamberlain thing, you know, it's like, it's not gonna, you know, it's that kind of thing. And the thing is, cheating, you know, like when Jax cheated on Stassi on Vanderpump, and it was so out there and in the open, even though I love my Jaxie and I love my Stassi, you know, people start to throw stones at people, but they don't really know what the story is behind the scenes of the situation. Right. And in reality, we see it every day. Someone's cheating on someone else, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't getting, you know, my favorite couple is Tori and Dean. I know them really well. I was just with them last week. And, you know, you don't know what's going on. Maybe someone stops giving sex to the person. You don't really know. You can't really prejudge and just read a newspaper or TMZ and think it's real.
So back to, I just wanted to know, Dustin Rachel. So they're no longer on the show, but do they work with you still?
No, they don't work with me. They went off to do their own business in their jewelry. They were in a jewelry business or something. And he also writes movies. Okay, he's really good at that. Maxwell this season is an author. I knew him from before.
How do you?
And usually, what I do is I usually revolve one of the seats. Right. I usually keep bringing new people in because we want new philosophies, we want new ideas. We don't know what's going to happen next season. Right. And so we might bring 2 new people. We don't know. And the thing is, we want to keep challenging the audience because it's good when they challenge me and they might be getting younger because they might tell me, Patty, like somebody called me old this season Peter, who ended up in a relationship. He's gay and he's living with the guy in Miami. Oh, nice. That's a big cha-ching. And he called me old and he said, you're out of touch. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm on the apps too, but I look up. Right. I don't sit on my phone all day. I actually put my phone down as I did with you and turned it off, and I'm engaged in conversation. I'm not sitting there and going, yeah, how's it going? What's going on?
Yeah, it's really, really hard to do these days. So, well, how do you like Maxwell on the show?
I mean, It
Because
was.
I'm not really.
I don't know. I got to be politically correct here. It was a difficult thing for me because he argued a lot. He didn't get along with Candace at all. So that was the really weird part.
Okay.
He didn't get along with Candace and him. There's a lot of knockdown drag fight that took place on video, but you can't see it because it's not. We only have 42 minutes, and the show's about the clients. It's not about art. It's not about what goes on. It's not like Vanderpump, what's happening at SUR.
Right.
It's about the story on the client, and so we didn't have it. They didn't get along really well.
Yeah,
they
it doesn't.
He didn't.
It
He
like it
doesn't
meshed
really.
well.
I feel like he believes that men should be leaders and women should just support the leader. Like, I don't want to say it. He's not. I don't want to say he's sexist. I'm just saying like he believes like that. You know, he can't see a woman CEO, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a hard thing. I don't think he would respect a Sheryl Sandberg or somebody like that. I don't think he would have voted for Hillary. You know, but then I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This is allegedly, and I think he just believes that men are the stronger sex in business, and he has a right to his opinion. He owns a suit company. He's an established author. He has the right to that.
Yeah. No, it seems like he's very successful, but just the mesh with the
challenged
show.
me. He challenged me, and I never really had anyone challenge my philosophy before, because you know Justin was like so busy about looking pretty, and Marissa was taking pictures and the selfies, and David just is like, oh, Patty, whatever you say. So it was kind of nice in some ways to get me off my ass and go, whoa, not everybody believes in what I think. Okay, let's go. You know, so I was okay with that.
Okay. Well,
you know,
we'll see how it could just.
Good for you. You're very psychic and intuitive. What sign are you?
A Leo.
I love you already. Yeah.
I think that's why.
I love Gemini, so I love you already.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Now, I know you always get this question, but what's the dating life like for yourself?
You know, I just started dating on Tinder and Bumble, and I just got something for Rhea. I'm gonna try, but I had a good experience and a bad experience. The good experience was that a lot of people were open to me being on the apps. Like Whitney asked me to come on Bumble, and Sean asked me to come on Tinder, and they were the owners of the apps. So it was nice because I wasn't trying to steal clients or anything like that. I was looking for me. I met my ex on Plenty of Fish back in the day before Marcus sold it to Match.com.
The firefighter?
Yeah. No, the firefighter was fixed up with. That was a fluke. I was in a really good period where I got a lot of men, but they were all like bad boys. He cheated on me, you know. Be careful of those firefighters. And so the bottom line, and we were long distance, so that's why. But the bottom line is, it's like, I guess I'm older and wiser. It's taking me a lot to get off the couch for someone. I haven't seen anyone that I'm like, oh my God. And I met one guy I really liked, but then it didn't work out because he didn't like what I did for a living. He doesn't like me being on TV. He's in the industry too, and he just didn't think it was a good idea for me to be on TV. They want to change you, and they want give up the show, give up what you do. Like, it's like, I'm not gonna be barefoot and pregnant. I'm a little too old for that right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are your hopes if you were to kind of get it together, or not get it together, but
I mean, my hope, I guess, if you said what my dream was, to find my true love earlier than later, and I'd love to be a stepmom to children, so I'd love it if he had kids, and I love someone who's like me. I'm kind of like DL-ish. I don't really go on the carpet unless it's work. I don't drink very much. You know, I'm into wellness and fitness and meditation. I do transcendental meditation twice a day, and I live for, going to spas. And I was in Maui last week for 2 weeks where nobody gave a shit what you look like, and you don't have to put makeup on the whole day. I was loving this place. And we sat in the water, and we healed, and we meditated. So I'm more into, like, I'm kind of a homebody, and I love, like, watching Netflix and all my favorite channel. I mean, there's so many shows on right now. Like, I just saw Girl Trip for last week, and I was super excited to get to Hawaii because I thought I didn't have time when it came out.
Right.
And Tiffany was on our show, and I know everything about Tiffany because Tiffany was like one of those girls, like, girl, like she says, she's bad at the Slauson. And I was just like, I was so proud of her. She stole that movie, and she's come such a long way. Even her stand-up is so amazing because she's really talking about dating and relationships, and I just was so proud of her. And Queen Latifah was the first person who ever told me she loved me that was a celebrity, so I love that whole movie. I just love. I hope we get it too. I want to get it too.
Oh yeah, that's
because it did so well, and I'm ready. Where are we going next? That's what I want to know. You know.
All right, so hopefully we'll put it out into the universe. Yeah. So what's the worst client that you've had
this season? It was
or you could just in general. Because I've noticed.
Well, it's probably the Angry Hobbit, which I can't remember his name. He was on picket fences. I went into his closet to redress him. It was probably the second episode of the first season. And I took out a green shirt that was see-through Miami Vice, and I'm like, no. And I'm throwing it, and he starts going crazy at me. And I thought the producers made him scream at me. And I'm walking off set going, no one's ever yelled at me. It's the second episode. And my showrunner at the time, Catherine Vaughn, who's, God bless her, she's like, this is real. And she's like, Patty, take him down. And I just went for it, and then I realized, oh, this is who I really am.
Right.
Because he was such a nasty ass. He was so unappreciative. He was probably one of the worst. We've had a lot of them. I mean, you know, there's days I love Plumpty Dumpty, and there's days I hate Robin Castner, who's Plumpty Dumpty. There are days, Courtney Stodden was probably the worst this season. She's in the finale. We're actually doing a Dr. Phil with her on Monday. And there's just a lot of, you see what they edit, but then I have to deal with the aftermath, like the ups and downs, the drama. Dina Lohan, she probably took the cake, and she was my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, Dina Lohan, I mean, she scared the shit out of me.
Do they not know the show when they, because it just kind of baffles me.
So Sonia last season and Derek said they never watched the show. I'm like, well, how did you even come here? So Sonia signs the waiver that we have, like a waiver that you sign, and you kind of sign, you know, like you're going to show up.
Right.
And the plane comes and there's no Sonia. And she's like, she didn't tell us she had a boyfriend, and she's just like, I'm not showing up. And we're like, you have a contract. We have a week to show. We've already hired the crew. You can't cancel shit because you got to hold the crew. It cost them a fortune. And she gave us a lot of shit, and she came against my will, and then she had a breakdown. And by the way, I was feeding her I was cooking certain kinds of food for somebody who's a bodybuilder, and she would take my chicken, and I would cook it every day and give it to her, and she was like so ungrateful. But Derek was a hot mess. Derek said, I never watched the show. I don't know what I'm doing here. And we're like, right, you've never heard of the show before. So there's a lot of people that come on that pretend, but you know they know.
I don't understand why they wouldn't.
And by the way, if they didn't, they would look it up and find out about it.
Right.
Like Oprah was talking about when she first started bringing spirituality on the show. I was watching the Believe series on LinkedIn with her, and she said nobody knew who the Seat of the Soul, Thomas More, was. And I wanted to make him be the next New York Times bestseller. So I bring him on the show. She calls him up, and he didn't have a TV, and he's like, who are you? How do you spell that? What's Oprah? Like, and you know, I could see somebody like that, little nerd living in an ivory tower, but these were hipsters.
Yeah, if
these
you're
were
on
hipsters.
TV, you should at least look
Vegas
it up.
and Philadelphia. These were not people living in the outskirts of the Ozarks.
Right.
You know, seriously.
So who's your favorite?
Oh God, there's a lot of them. Ooh, this is going to be tough. Vinny and Daniel this season. Okay. I'm obsessed with them. I love them. I love them to become my sidekicks. I love Bachelor Nation. If you can't, I am so proud of Rachel. She tweeted me when she picked. I was so great. Don't go for Peter. Don't go for Peter. He doesn't want to get married. And I'm like go for the one that loves you, as my mother would say. And then I was proud. And she's like, Patty, I didn't come here to play. And she tweeted me, and we were tweeting. And Chris is a friend, so we were tweeting together. And I just Daniel was a tough nut to crack this season. He was tough. He was resistant because you know Vinny I know forever. So it was like at the end of the season we like fell in love. It was like I was his big sister, and I was like, what happened? How come we like each other now? And we did press together the first week, and we were hanging out in New York, and I was just like, oh my God, I love you both. So I loved them because they came. Maybe because they've been on reality TV, they came with this idea, I'm open, and the girl he picked was a dark friggin' horse. I had a tranny right next to that girl. Did you watch the first episode with them?
Yeah, I watched the first episode.
So you remember there was I did a transsexual makeover, but we didn't have enough time to put it in the show. She was sitting right next to the girl he picked, and I was wondering, when he said, I like that girl, I was like, wait, does he like that? And she's from my hometown.
Oh.
And I was like, Short Hills, I was like, is he gonna pick the transsexual? Oh my God, this is gonna be a major television. Like, but he picked the other girl. But he picked a girl that wasn't hottie patati bimbo city like the twins. So I love that when they do the dark horse. I love when they turn the corner and you're picking that after you just gave me the wish list before. Oh, Hani, I loved. I felt bad for him about J-Lo. I really felt bad. It was J-Lo's ex-husband. And I kind of felt bad in some ways, but I also felt like, how are you still stuck on this person?
Right.
Like, when are you going to grow up? Like, there's part of me that was like that.
Well, I think because with J-Lo, everything, like, she's everywhere.
Right,
so
but she's the bar for me.
On.
She's the most stunning thing in the whole world. I want to look like her when I get that age, right? Or Jane Fonda, because I'm watching Frankie and Grace, and she's 80, and I'm like, oh my God, she is stunning. But I mean, over a Millionaire Matchmaker history, not $1 Million I think it would be Kenya and Cynthia and Taylor. That was my favorite episode
because she's married. Did she call you when she got?
Yeah, afterwards.
Okay.
That whole episode was so important to me because I have been through everything with Kenya, which is like, she was like me, we both weren't married, and being on Housewives and not being married it's got to be the hardest thing in the world. Like, where Claudia was married for 5 minutes, but she wasn't married at all.
Right.
And I just felt so, because Kenya was getting older and wanting a baby, and I was her. And Taylor I knew forever. Now I want to take Cynthia on, but Cynthia's got a boyfriend now. But I said, Cynthia, you're going to get divorced, and it'll be 6 seconds, you know? Like, you were the person that, And when Nene broke up with Greg and they got divorced, I was like, you need to go back together because they ain't gonna be any better than Greg. Like, I like see.
And you went back to that wedding, the second wedding.
I see, and I was at Kim's wedding. I see things that a lot of people can't see because I know what the landscape looks like and I know what it's like to date in the trenches. But Kenya was a big deal to me. It was a big. I mean, I loved Freddie Mitchell. He was the finale on season 4 in New York. I'm trying. There's so many people. I'm trying to remember them all. If I guess you'd have to give me a whole list, and I'd have to go this one, this one, this one.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I said, I've
Marsalis. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a funny story. So Marsalis comes on, and he's kind of like flirting with me, and there was like this moment that I thought maybe
I love him. He's amazing.
I'm obsessed with him. So I get terrible migraine cluster headaches, and I have to go to my doctor every now and then to have injections put in my back so that the nerves don't aggravate me. And in walks this woman, and she's my who gives you the drugs? The nurse. What? Anesthesiologist. She in walks this in, and she's like, I need to tell you who I am. And I go, who are you? She goes, I'm Marsalis' wife. And it was awesome because he got married because he was not committing to anyone. You know what a player he was. And I was like, and they have kids and everything's good.
Yeah, he posts about his kid. We go to the same gym together.
I'm obsessed. So Marsalis was one of my favorite episodes of all the time. It would be because I loved him. I just loved him as a person. You know?
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
So, what would be your advice to somebody getting back into the dating scene?
Well, getting back in the game is really tough. Like, I just came from Brandy Granville, and I did a podcast with her today, and we're friends. And, she met her boyfriend on Tinder, and she said it was really scary because she'd go on these dates, and the guys would talk about the show, and they wouldn't talk about her.
Right.
And I think what you have to do, and this is what I'm learning because I'm dating too, and I'm older and wiser now, is that when you see that red flag, get out. Like, I had a guy get nasty with me on the phone. I get a guy interrogate me on the phone. You can talk to them on the phone and right away. Right. This is not a normal person. This person has issues. One of the problems you're going to find online is a lot of people are in the program. And I mean A. And that's okay. But one of my dates had just gotten out of a rehab facility the week before, which he's not supposed to date for a year, for cocaine abuse. Oh. And so, you don't know what's on those like little 3-liners on the apps. Whereas in the old days, you had a profile. I don't drink, and then you can say, I don't drink, and then you can call them on the phone and go, why don't you drink?
Right.
Okay. Are you?
I think Plenty of Fish has like a little bit more detail.
Because they're an app attached to a website.
Yeah.
But the Tinders and the Bumbles don't. And it's up to you to ask the 4 or 5 questions and get clearance and screen and vet them before you waste your time. And then I say, go to a place that's close to your house. Make sure they come to you. If they're a woman and they do not come to you, they're not for you. Because that means they're never going to drive to you. Second of all, you got to make sure they pick up the check. Start with drinks. If it lends in dinner, it's fine. And then have Uber ready in your phone so that you can get out of Dodge if it's not a good situation. If you know right away you're not sexually attracted, you can say, hey, listen, I don't really feel anything. I don't want to waste your money tonight. And the guy goes, oh, that's so refreshing. And then you can say, but if you know somebody for me, this is what I'm looking for. And if I know somebody for you, I'll give you. Okay. So we get the referral either way.
Now, I think it was this last episode, there was a younger guy who was, he was really into you.
I forgot about that. Okay. That was my showrunner pushing that on me, but it was like he
Would
was
you? Not him.
Not 25 years younger. I'll go 10 down, 10 up, but I ain't going 25. I'm not robbing the cradle here. It's not happening. I can't even get sexually aroused by someone who's like 20-something. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know they're cute and all. They're like puppies. Like they're just puppies. Leave them and let them shit outside.
He was like adorable to you.
Okay. Oh my God! Stop. First of all, I'm looking for a man with bucks, not a millionaire.
He had a Toyota.
Okay, that's great. Okay, you might as well have a Schwinn bike at this point. Okay.
There's a lot of things. You had, I think Laura. There's a lot of people.
McGovern.
Yeah, a lot of people. She's been cheated on. Yes. So what's your advice for?
There's a lot of people that've been cheated on.
Exactly.
I think Moni was cheated on. Was Tiffany Fox cheated on? Ash, she's my assistant. It's Tiffany and Moni and Tiffany, Moni, and Laura, but there was one more also. Oh, Claudia. Now, Claudia's the 4th one. They were all cheated on.
Do you think if you're in that relationship, should you take them back or you should kick them to the curb?
Everything, I like to find the why. So I like a healing. Like, I'd like to get to the place of healing, go to a therapist and get a family practitioner you both agree on, and then find out why. Because you need the why even if you need to move on. Right. You got it, so you don't keep repeating. If you keep getting cheaters, one right after the other, like Moni did, what's the payoff? What are you getting? Well, what I found out from Moni is she was getting gifts. Right. They would give her, when they would break up or cheat on her, she'd get a special gift. Okay. So what's the payoff? Why are you staying? Yeah.
Okay. So, When is the show? For people who don't know about the show, when does the show air? And when
So
can
the
people
show
see it?
airs Friday nights. It goes on until October 3rd. It airs at 9 o'clock. And, obviously Central Standard Time is an hour earlier, 9 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock, we have a new show called Love Blows, which is about a family of matchmakers that I actually work with.
Okay.
Love Biz Chicago. Lisa and her husband, Jim, own this company with their kids. Lisa's best friend was the office manager and the head of sales. She cheated with her husband. They all broke up. They're still working together.
okay.
I appear on that show several times. Look for me.
Yeah, because you mentioned it in
And I
the first
executive
couple of
producer, and that's at
episodes.
10 o'clock on Friday. So you have 9 o'clock, me and 10. So you basically want to get your happy hour over at 8 o'clock, put your PJs on, get into bed, because Saturday night, you need your tip of the week. We have it live or die. We are not a network that repeats like Bravo. You don't get a lot of repeats here. So it's good to get it live because you get my tip, and then when you go out on Saturday night on your dates, or even when you're with your husband, I give you relationship advice. Sometimes people are stale in their marriages and they don't know how to revitalize them.
up.
And I teach you how to spice it up. Yeah.
All right, so I have a last set of questions, rapid fire questions.
Okay, go.
So, always early or always late?
Early. Always earlier on time, as my mom would kill me.
Last person you text?
Ooh, who did I text today? I don't remember. I was doing it in the car. Oh, my assistant. That's boring, probably.
If you were to change one thing in the world, what would it be?
Oh, I want to turn back. I want to know what I know now at 25.
And then what celeb would you like to meet?
Ooh, meet? Ooh, this is Idris Elba.
I think more than meet, but you know.
Hello.
Favorite food?
Oh, favorite food, stone crabs.
And if you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Probably stone crabs or lobster or something. I like shellfish. I just had shrimp today. I like eating decadent oysters, Dungeness crab. I like all that stuff. I don't know, because I think that's you know what it is? It's like you ate that on special occasions, and now that I can afford my own, I'm like, when we go out, and it's healthy and it's low calorie.
There you have it.
Yeah.
And where can people find you?
They can go to millionairesclub123.com, and if you want to join the service as a non-millionaire, it's free. If you want to be a millionaire and you want us to fix you up and, totally counsel you and get you every perfect person that you desire, call us.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Learned so much.
You had fun?
I did.
Okay,
I kind of
cool.
feel like.
I like your color of your hair, by the way.
Thank you. I feel
Yeah.
like we have a
Synergy
do
with
it again.
the Leo Gemini thing
We
right
need to
here.
do it again. I think
Okay, cool.
It's very, very exciting. Anywho, you guys can find me on everything at TK Trinidad, and we'll see you again on Spotlight On. Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.